when the woman got the get. That's all.
The 11th of June, this is Rabbi Levitt, Gemora, second recording.
Okay.
I got kicked out.
Oh, really? Okay. I hope you'll be able to stay for a good time this time.
Yeah, Imrit Hashem.
Okay, so now we're really basically trying. We understand why it is that we give the get back to the Isha right away. We give it back to her. Whereas when it comes to the Shtar Chov, we say that we don't give it back. So we want to know, why is it that we don't give it back? So we're up to Hacha Gabi Shtar Chov. This is about the 25 lines from the bottom. If you go up to you'll see two dots after the first two words in the line, Avodim B'chulei. Then it says Tafresh Ton Rabbanan. If you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from there, you'll find Hacha Gabi Shtar Chov.
Hacha Gabi. Here, in the case of a note of indebtedness, lo ase lokeach v'tava. The purchaser will not come and demand Mida ahada ruha ni hale rabbanan lishtar chov, because he will reason, since the rabbis allowed the funder to return the note of indebtedness, the lamai hilchasa achad ruha. Otherwise, for what purpose did they return the note to him?
That's interesting.
What's interesting?
So what the Gemora is explaining now, why it is that we have an issue with giving back the Shtar Chov to the Malva, even though we're talking about a case where the Loiva, the borrower, has admitted that he has not he had not paid up yet.
Right.
So even though we don't give it to the Malva, we don't give it to the lender. This Shtar Chov that proves that he's entitled to be paid. Why? Because the Gemara says, because what are we worried about? We're worried that the loiva, the borrower, he's going to sell land. He's going to sell land that's encumbered to pay off this note. And well, let's hold back on whether it's to pay. He sells land, right? He sells land, and the Gemara says we're worried that the purchaser of the land is not going to demand the lender to ask him, give a proof when it is that you loaned this money. That's the issue over here. When was it that the lender loaned this money? Was it before the borrower sold his land to this purchaser? If it was before, so then that land is really on lien to pay the lender in the event that the borrower doesn't pay the loan, right? That's always it's a standard situation. But here we're saying that we're worried that the guy is not going to demand for a proof because he says it's obvious that this note to the Malva. Why did they return it? Obviously, they returned it so that he could collect with it. Oh, so if they hold that he's entitled to collect with it, so then who am I to demand him to prove to me that he's entitled to collect from me? That's what it sounds like. Sounds like a pretty wimpy purchaser, if you ask me. Anyway.
Okay, so let's see.
That's what Gemora is saying. Lo osi lokeach b'tova. He's not going to come and demand that the one who's trying to take away his house should bring a proof that he's entitled to take away his house. Why? Vidahadrua nahale rabbanan l'shtar chov. Since the rabbis gave back the shtar chov to this person, pshita. It's obvious that they hold the my hilchas, right? You have to read the rest of that, I think.
It's obvious. Lemai hilchasa ahad ruha ni hale. For what purpose did they return the note to him? The mitraf who? It is only in order to enable him to take the property that is subject to the lien. Shmamina. I must conclude from the fact that they authorized the return of the note. Kamu Rabbanan, the Milsa, that the rabbis must have resolved the matter when the loan actually took place. Umi kamai di mata shtara liade. And it is true that the note of indebtedness came into the creditor's hand on its recorded date before I purchased the debtor's property. Thus, in the case of a note of indebtedness, we cannot assume that when it is presented for collection, the purchaser will demand verification of the date of the loan. Consequently, we cannot allow it to be returned.
Wow. I don't know. If I was the one that purchased that house, I wouldn't take that. I would say they gave him they gave it back. They gave back the shtar chov to the guy because the lova has not paid yet. Okay, fine. That means that he's entitled to collect. But who says he's entitled to collect from me? He's got to. I would ask him to prove. I'll ask him to prove that what's his name? That maybe you got a right to collect, but you only got a right to collect from the day that you actually received this loan, this shtar chov document, and maybe that was 6 months after the date that it says in the document, because it wasn't given to you for 6 months, and in the interim, before that time, the borrower sold me his property, so you don't have any right to collect against me. So in any case. But the Gemora is saying that we're worried that the lokeach is not gonna demand, and so therefore, what are we going to do? We're not going to give the shtar back to the malva. So now the malva's losing out. No, he's not going to be able to collect anything on the money that he gave out.
That doesn't seem right.
And furthermore, we have a principle. The Gemora says, "Lo sino delis bifnei loivin." We don't want to close the door on borrowers. How is it we? What does that mean that we don't want to close the door on borrowers? We got to make it easy for lenders to lend their money. And if we're going to make it hard for them to lend their money because we're not going to give them back their star when they loaned money because we're worried that maybe the Lova's going to be a wimp and he's not going to demand his rights and blah, blah, blah. You know what the lender's going to do? He says, what do I need this business for? I'm not going to lend any money anymore. And then that defeats the whole purpose of what Chazal wanted. They wanted that money should be flow in the marketplace, meaning that there should be loans. People should loan money. I don't understand this Gemara at all. Let's see Rashi. Is there any Rashi over here?
Okay.
And that's the end of the story. Now we're going to go on to another subject. How could that be the explanation of? How could that be an explanation? Tosfos has got to be jumping up and down over here. How come he's silent? Okay. I don't know. What does the art scroll say?
I don't see. Oh, wait here. When the loan goes into effect, it creates a lien on all property held by the debtor at the time. Should he subsequently sell the property and later have no money to pay the debt, the creditor would have the right to collect his debt by foreclosing on the property held by the purchaser. In the case of this debt, however, he would only have the right to collect property sold after Tishrei. Property sold between Nisan and Tishrei would not be subject to the lien because the loan was not actually implemented until Tishrei. Returning the note to the creditor, however, would enable him to prove that the loan was made at the earlier date in Nisan, and he would then be able to foreclose unlawfully on property that had been sold between Nisan and Tishrei. That's the first.
Therefore,
let's see, where is that? That note is before it says asi raya the emas mata star hov liadcha. Prove to us when the note of indebtedness actually came into your hand. Footnote says, i.e., when the debtor handed, according to Rashi, and the loan actually took place. Now, there's another footnote, and it occurs near the end where it says, Umikame di mata stara liade. And it is true that the note of indebtedness came into the debtor's hand on its recorded date before I purchased the debtor's property. This is the reasoning of the purchaser. The buyer will assume that since the rabbis returned the note of indebtedness for the sole purpose of enabling the creditor to collect his debt in court, they must have determined that the note was not predated, and that anyone who purchased the property from the debtor
I see.
recorded in the document is legally liable. Thus, they will not think to demand verification.
Okay, they explained it. That sentence you just read.
Right?
Okay. In other words, the purchaser is reasoning as follows. I'm just going to say over exactly what you read, just so we could hear it again and understand it better. Let's say it really did happen that the Shtar Chov was not given to the Malva until 6 months after it was written. So here you have a case where an unscrupulous Malva, he could take advantage, right? So in a case like that, the purchaser of property, if he purchased it property and he's going to see, if he sees that the Bezdin gave back the Shtar Chov to the Malva, he's going to say to himself, oh, it must be, if the Bezdin is a responsible body, they don't do funny things. If they gave him back the note, it must be that Shtar Chov was given to the Malva on the very same day that it was written. And they must have only given it to him back because it wasn't such a type of a Shtar Chov that really has a 6 month differential between when it was written and when it was actually given. They're going to make that determination themselves. If they're going to ask him, when did you get this note? Prove it. Prove when you got this note. If he can't prove when he got the note, they're not going to give it back to him. So this is all what the purchaser is saying. So that's why he's not going to speak up. It makes a case a lot more reasonable than what I originally thought. I thought the only basis that the court is going to take into consideration is whether the loiva has already paid the loan altogether. If he's already paid it, obviously they're not going to give it back to him. But if they are gonna find out that that the loiva did not pay it up, and that Malva really is owed the money, so they're going to give it back to him. There's a 6 month differential between when it was written and when it was paid. We'll leave that up to the purchaser to make that claim. But we don't want to take the Shtar Chov away from this Malva because otherwise, how's he going to collect on his loan altogether? I mean, the question still remains. The question still remains. And the bottom line is that we're not giving back the Shtar Chov to the Malva. So how's the Malva going to collect now? The money he lent out. How's he going to collect? They don't give him back the Shtar Chov.
Seems like the Malva loses out here.
Yeah. I mean, let's also note the fact that this Shtar Chov was found in the shuk. So how was it found in the shuk? It must be it fell from the Malva, because the loiva admits that he didn't pay it. So okay, so it's sort of like it's it's a tough luck on the Malva. If you don't lose your star chov, because if you lose your star chov, we're not going to give it back to you. The Bezdin's not going to give it back to you. So you better make it your business not to lose it. That's all.
Like to make.
Yeah. Okay. That seems to be the story here.
Okay. Weiter?
Next Gemora. Yeah.
Shichrurei avadim, etc. To form emancipation. Rabbanan. Rabbis taught in the Brisa. Matzah star shichrur b'shuk. He found a bill of emancipation in the street. Bizman shecharav moda. When the master admits, if Yachazir le'eved, return it to the slave. Ein harav moda, the master does not. Lo Yachazir lo lezeh v'lo lezeh. Then don't give it back to anybody.
Oh.
Now, what can the master do with a bill of emancipation if he's unscrupulous?
Well, the point is that if he actually did give it, he could unscrupulously go to Bezdin and say, I never gave it because you see, I have it in my hand. I never gave it to him, and he could try to take back his eved that he emancipated.
Oh.
So we don't give it back to him because maybe he really already gave it, I guess. And on the other hand, we don't give it back to the eved because maybe he didn't give it back to him. So we can't take sides over here. We don't know what happened, so we're not gonna give it back to anybody. So we're talking about a case where we don't have any witnesses that the document was ever given by the master to the eved, and so accordingly, we're not gonna take sides.
But aren't we, in fact, taking sides? Because the Eved now does not have a bill of emancipation, so he's going to be drawn back into his slavery.
But we don't know. Maybe the document fell from the master. Maybe the master never emancipated him yet.
So why don't we say let him prove that he was emancipated?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody has a proof that it was given. If the Eved can bring witnesses and say that they'll come and say on such and such a date we witnessed the giving of this star shikhr from this master to this Eved, so then he can that'll be a different story. Neither the master nor the Eved can prove what actually happened. All we know is we found this star shikhr. So we don't give it back to the master because that might cause a fallout to the Eved. We don't give it back to the Eved because that might cause a fallout to the master because we don't know we don't really know. We don't know. Okay. Phil, is there any Rashi for Phil to read?
In a while, I'm trying to find where. Let's see. It's hard to catch exactly which words are we.
Oh, I guess the next Rashi is Chushula Eved. We didn't get up there yet. I think it said we're going to do that now.
Bizman harav modep miha yachazir le'evid. At a time when the master admits, we return it to the slave. The amai. Why we do this? Nichush shema b'tav. I'm sorry, kasav lisain lo b'nisan. Let us be concerned that perhaps the master wrote the bill of emancipation in Nisan, intending to give it to the slave then. Below Natan lo ad Tishrei, but he didn't actually give it to him until Tishrei. Va'azal avda, and the slave went. The kana nichsin mi Nisan ad va'ad Tishrei, and purchased properties between Nisan and Tishrei. The azil harav the zabeni nehu, and the master went and sold those properties. Umapek lay the shichrur to kasav b'nisan. If we turn the bill of emancipation to the slave, he may produce this bill of emancipation written in Nisan, claiming that he was freed in Nisan and that the master had no right to sell the property. The ka tarif lekuchos shelo bedin, and he will be able to take away the property unlawfully from those who purchased it.
Good question without an answer. We'll have to wait for next time.
Wow.
Thank you, Rob.
Very good. That's quite a case for you.
Okay, be well.
Have a good day, Phil. Sorry you didn't get to read today.
I can't believe we had no Rashis and all those things before that. At least we'll get to that Zechus soon.
I didn't realize that. Okay. All the best.